I was the Chief Technology Officer and co-founder of Integral Ad Science. And while there, I was at the breaking waves of brand safety and viewability and fraud detection, and still have a lot of great relationships there. After I left there, I started to explore blockchain technology. And it occurred to me that a lot of the concepts around supply chain provenance and tracking transactions as they flow through different systems could be directly applied to some of the challenges I knew were outstanding in the ad tech industry from my time at IAS. Who Amino is really differs a bit depending on who you are. So as a buyer, Amino represents complete transparency. When a big brand puts in $10 million into a large ad campaign, we're going to give you complete view into where all that money went, all the way down to the publisher. So as a DSP and SSP, resellers, as they're all taking their cuts, that you'll get to see where every penny of that $10 million went, and to make sure that it wound up where you thought it was supposed to go. From the sell side, we represent fast reconciliations and fast payments. So we're able to do a pull from the big brand or buying principal and pay out the entire supply chain simultaneously, which solves a whole host of other issues, float, reverse float, sequential liability, and then ultimately driving more revenue towards publishers and away from spoofers and other types of bad actors.
So who are generically your customers on both sides? Who do you work with?
So we think it does start with the big brands. We have 6 of the top 10 global programmatic spenders, either live on the platform or in verbal yeses or in legal right now. So where the source of the money is really what drives a lot of adoption throughout the rest of the ecosystem. Likewise, we have huge publishers that are signed on, as well as a pretty significant presence growing in the long tail, because they're running their own tests and seeing dollars being siphoned off to people representing them in the exchange environment when it's not actually them. And then there's the middle layer, and we solve a host of problems there as well. So our customers really are in every single vertical in ad tech. There's a network effect at play here, but adoption is being driven by brand demand, just like in so many other ways.
So how do you see the industry, the impact of your company, and how the industry may change in the next year?
So just like with brand safety and viewability and fraud detection, the buzzword of the 2018, in my opinion, is going to be transparency. If you're around the ANA, the 4As, the IAB, there's always a presentation on the subject, or it looms as a large presence in tangential topics. Ultimately, controlling the money is what's going to allow us to control the problems that remain in ad tech. There should be no way that someone should be able to represent that they're the New York Times and sell that property on an exchange and get paid. And the opaque supply chain allows activity like that to continue. And ultimately, it has an artificial depressive effect on CPMs, has an artificial depressive effect on yield, has an artificial depressive effect on reach. And it all boils down to the same mechanism that the government uses to go after everything from terrorism to organized crime. They follow the money. And we think that controlling the money and following the money is ultimately how we're going to resolve a lot of these problems.